Hey everyone, I have a question for you. How many lights can you install on a Ford F-150? The answer, not enough. So in this video, we're going to be installing a couple LED light bars from ijdmtoy.com. And the big thing here is we're going to be showing you how to connect the wires to the pass-through wires to the console switches or auxiliary switches, which seems to be the thing that some guys are having some issues with. And so if you're curious about it, stick around. Welcome to the WorknDirt channel. I'm Joel, and in today's video we're going to be installing light bars from ijdmtoy.com and product numbers 35-936 and 35-918. And we're spending about close to $400 for these products. And the big thing here is that, I mean, you could hook up almost any light to your truck. You connect a couple wires, find a place to screw it in. But in this situation, it's a little different because you're behind a grill and you're utilizing some factory bolts, and so it gets kind of tricky and tough. But you can mount it the way the instructions say, but they're kind of hard to read. So we made some mild modifications. You can do what we did or do what the instructions say and see what works best for you. But the other thing that you'll find some value in is finding the video called Pass-Through Wires from Roger Silva. And he did a really good video. It's a little blurry, but he had our Raptor set up, and he shows how you connect through these pass-through wires to your auxiliary switches. So check that out. There's some other videos on that too, but now it's time to check out the video. Okay, opening up the light kit, it looks like it's from ijdmtoy.com on Amazon, and this is one of the light bars that will be in the center of the grill, and it comes with a set of brackets and some light switches. They seem decent because it also has some 3M adhesive on it, and then the instructions right here to coordinate with the F-150 that we have. It tells you which auxiliary switches even that are rated for different amp capacities. So, and then we got the smaller kit and wires for the smaller light. So now we're going to figure out which auxiliary switch we're going to put which light on. Alright, so one thing I want to make clear is on the instructions it talks about the auxiliary switches and the amp fuses that coordinates with them, but we actually found that our auxiliary switches 1 and 2 actually went with the 30 amp fuses, which is what we wanted because we had some higher power LED lights. So for you, just double check which amp fuses connect with which switches when you're doing your testing. But don't just assume that what the instructions say are correct. It might be for a slightly different year. It doesn't say right here. Once again, it's not the best of instructions, but so take note of that. We hooked ours up, you'll see in the video, to the 30 amp fuses. Alright, so here are the brackets they give you that they want you to put in between this bolt, which holds the bumper to the frame, but that puts extra pressure on the bumper pushing it out, which isn't that big of a deal, but it's a little more difficult than it seems. And not to mention, it's still, the light is wider than these two sections, so these tabs need to be cut. Unless you mount it flip side and put the LED light bar more forward, but at that rate, the light bar is going to prevent you from putting on the plastic grill, which mounts here and there. So it looks like from other comments, people are unsatisfied and having to customize their own as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a plasma cutter and trim out right here to there, and then make it so that the LED bar sits back a little bit. We're gonna basically probably drill some holes and then mount it a little more recessed. So we're gonna use our trusty Power Max 30 hypotherm plasma to cut these tabs out here. And we have our ground connection right there to a bumper bolt and the battery disconnected. So Brian is about to try it. Yep.
Burned a hole right through your welding blanket.
Black engine paint. That's where we cut with the plasma cutter, and now it's protected with the paint. So Brian wants me to recycle these small pieces of metal, and I'm all about recycling, but sometimes, you know, we can compromise and let things go back to the earth that are that small, and he says that's not enough. Well, I might agree. I told him, don't you give me brownie points for reusing this light that's like 10 years old? It's not even recycled. And he says brownie points don't pay you bills. So I said, whoa! All right, we're making new brackets. Or no, modifying brackets.
Drilling new holes in the brackets. Like,
There you go.
Gotta hold those brackets.
You got my new Milwaukee bits.
Dingle.
So those are existing brackets we shaved down. And yes, we did check to see that the truck was level on our level shop ground before you put a level on the light. We get this to make sure it fits inside, and we'll mark some of those. Oh yeah. Nice.
It's just a matter of figuring out where center is.
Alright, so the big light bar is going to attach to these L brackets, which are attached to this bolt here that holds some sub-assembly on the frame. Yeah, you just have to add a washer because they don't give you a washer. Aren't these the best instructions ever that come with this kit, Brian?
Well, it's so simple and straightforward. Probably could have just not included instructions.
Yeah.
It would have been just as helpful.
That's what I'm thinking. Go green, no paper. So the Allens they give you to bolt in here are too long by a good ½ inch, so we ended up using one of the hex bolts with a nut washer as a washer, and it tightened up just fine, and one lock washer right in there. Now on to the wiring. We'll get to see Brian's wire skills. Feel like getting wired up, dog? Alright, so right here we have the wires from the fog lights that need to be routed. You can do zip ties through here, but then they're going to be exposed. So Brian says, why not drill a hole right there so we can put a rubber grommet and keep them protected so no mud flinging pulls them down or anything like that. So on with the drilling. Still hot.
Yeah.
Withstand the bird. Alright, so the wire is being channeled from this lower middle light to the left over here, up behind the bigger light bar, behind this plastic guard, and then through here. And then we'll take the fog lights from the corners on that side, which he's working on right now. Getting them all connected. And then we took the wires from the fog lights and drilled a hole. We'll pass them through the rubber grommet we placed right there, as you can see. We'll pass those wires so that they're protected from slinging mud and rock and stuff. Yeah, because he also, did you see the video that kind of made this song famous?
I don't think I ever saw the video.
I think it's Jeb Corliss or whatever, that squirrel suit guy, cliff jumps.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that makes anything awesome. You could play like Barney music along with that video footage and get all amped up.
Hell yeah. Master B here is doing a good job with the wire routing, not channeling. Why would you use the word channeling, Brian? Jeez. It's looking clean though. We got some, just enough slack in case he needs to mess with it in the future. Zip tied, staying away from components that might get really hot or be moving. And got some good connectors and heat shrink on it. Now connecting up to the auxiliary outputs coming out of the firewall. For Infinity.
Yeah, well he probably has his own new pairs.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I'm wondering what he upgraded to.
Oh, Snap-on or Mac Tools.
Yeah.
Really, the Mac Tool, and the only difference is this is narrower, so more rounded, and I think that's a little thinner.
Yeah.
So it's easier to get into places.
Gotcha.
This has a lot more leverage. Oh, look at that! It's got cutters on the backside.
Yeah.
How good those are.
It's a 3-in-1.
Not bad.
Oh, look at that. Actually cut zip ties.
Alright, so now I gotta make these insulated too. It's way too big.
Alright, so now we're about to hook up to the auxiliary output positive leads, and you'll find that auxiliary 1 switch inside the Raptor is connected to the number 19 fuse location. There it is, right there. It's hard looking in the phone and doing the same time. So, and then number 18. Oh, I just said that backwards. Auxiliary 1 is number 18. Auxiliary 2 is number 19. My bad. And those are your 30 amp fuses right here. So that will be rated for these fog lights. We're gonna put the big one, the 40 amp or 40 inch light bar on one of the circuits, and then on switch 1, and then switch 2 is going to control the lower light bar in there and the fog lights. So we'll have 2 switches controlling it, and the color, switch 1 is on the red down there, which you'll see on your Raptor if you look, and then this is a 2014 again to remind you. And then switch 2 is on what color?
Green.
Green. And while we're at it, switch 3 was what?
Violet.
Violet, and then 4 was blue. And there's the card just to show you what number the fuses are. Alright, you can't see where the wire is because Mr. Professional Master B over there got it all tucked. We didn't use wire loom because we didn't have any, so we used a vacuum tube, which is a lot stronger, and routed it right around the battery so they can remove the battery. And then those are those auxiliary positive leads coming out of the firewall. So everything's nice, tight, secured. Everything's zip tied, grommeted, heat shrunk, you name it. It's ready for some off-road. All right, time to try it out. All right, it's pretty late here, but the Raptor's done. We wrapped it up. About to see her glow. Or be blinded here. Showtime. Oh, I guess, oh, there's one, there's two. Oh yeah, that's nice.